know. That's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just saying something. Yeah, right, yeah. We are. Yeah. Right, you said it. Yep. I didn't realize that. I probably take most steps like 12 or 10 or midnight. Yeah. Okay. I realized it was going to start at Rowe. No, it must panic. Okay, aloha kakahiaka kako. Like to welcome everyone to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs Board of Trustees meeting on the island of Kauaʻi. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. Time now is 9:01 in the morning. Lehua, Board Secretary, please call the roll.
Eo. Aloha mai kako.
Present.
Eo.
Present.
Yo.
Present.
Present. Okay, this meeting can be viewed via live stream on OHA's website at www.oha.org/livestream. The chair would like to welcome everyone who has attended this morning, and also want to mahalo members of the community who came last night and to share us your mana'o. Before we move to have each trustee introduce their staff, our trustee from Kauaʻi, would you like to say a few words? Introduce anyone in particular?
Yeah. Yes. We want to make sure we thank the people of Kalukalu here, and Leora Kahuna Hele, is she here? I just want her to be oh, she's right here. Okay. I think she's gonna give us a formal greeting. Yeah. Yeah.
Aloha. Yeah. Aloha.
Hello, speaking of old buildings, I was just saying, well, it's an honor. Aloha kako, oliara kaiwaiala kahanele. I'm the community curator here. My name is Liara Kahanele, and I'm a descendant of Kapaʻa here. This place nurtured me and my ohana. We come from a family of service, a family of guardians, and in my kuleana here, I serve as the community curator, and I help take shape and hold space for the community, engaging with our lifeways, our culture, and our aloha for the land. I seek to understand the value of our relationships and to our aina, to our kua, and to help establish a space where the spirit of our community can live and thrive through protection, healing, and aloha. E ho'ola I ka pihina ma waena o ke kanaka. Ka aina a me ka mo'omehu ma o ka noho like ana. He ao o aku a me ka ao o mai. A me ka haku ana I wahi e aloha ka noho na Hawaii. Kalukalu is not just a space, but a wahipana that holds the kuleana of reconnecting community through intentional programming, storytelling, stewardship. As a curator, and Waiwai, we hold space for others to arrive, connect, and belong. So we welcome OHA, Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and all of the trustees. I returned home after 26 years living in Fresno, California. I left in 1997, and I returned home in 2023, October. I began here at Waiwai Collective, Kalukalu Kapaʻa, and in January of 2024. So here at Kalukalu and Hawaii Federal Credit Union, this space, this building, this Economic Resilience Center. In just 6 months, I have reconnected to Aina, to Ohana, to Kuleana, here to serve and be a space for our community to come. So if they're not here today, they may still come to me and I'll be a resource for them and Waiwai Collective. So mahalo all of you, aloha and welcome.
You know, looking back, I was actually her teacher back in high school, so it's good to see her. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this building was Otsuka's, the former Otsuka's building. If you wanted to talk a little bit about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this was the old Otsuka's building. And they are still on the island, but it's no longer a furniture store. They are in Kuhio Hwy. So many of us, if we are born and raised over here, we know it as such. But Kalukalu, it's become that. This is the 15th year in the space now. Kauaʻi Federal Credit Union purchased the building and has just revived it. They revitalized it, brought it back to life, and it's taking form, it's taking shape. We still are in our second phase, finalizing architectures, designs, and trying to make it work with our environment. Not trying, we are making it work with our environment, with our culture, so that it can benefit and give back. They've already given back so much and continue. So this will be developing, bringing in more partners. Waiwai Collective is a partner right now and collaborating. We have Kauaʻi Makerspace and some others that are possibly going to be here. We have a whole upstairs building. So if you haven't had a chance yet to tour this building, I invite you and us to have maybe a short visit and tour of the entirety before you leave. So if any questions from there?
Thank you so much. KCFCU, Kauaʻi Community Federal Credit Union.
YFCU, Kauaʻi Federal Credit Union.
Okay. Okay, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So
Aloha.
yeah, that's a community bank that supports communities. So it's, you know, it works hand in hand with the bank. So thank you to them too in the partnership. So thank you, Leora.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also good to see you again.
You too.
Yeah.
You too, Mr.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo nui loa. Okay, before we begin, we'd like to ask each trustee to introduce themselves and their staff at this time. And we're going to start on the end with our trustee from Molokai.
Aloha kakahiaka. My name is Luana Lapa, trustee for the islands of Molokai, Lanai. And I'd like to take this time to introduce my secretary, Summer Soares. I don't know where you are. Oh, there you are, back there. Thank you.
Aloha mai kako. I am John Waiʻi the fourth trustee at large, and my aide is Crane Akina, and he's over there in the back.
Aloha Pumehana. I'm Kalea Kaka, and I'm honored to serve as the OHA Oahu trustee. Joining me this morning is my kokua, Nathan Takeuchi there, as well as my ohana. Mahalo.
Aloha kakahiaka kako. I'm Keli'i Akina, trustee at large. And I thank you all for coming today. I'm with my trustee aide, Remy Kili'i Ho'omalu.
Aloha and good morning. I'm Keone Souza, trustee at large. My aide is Rochelle Kim back there. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Kai Kahele, Hawaii Island trustee, trustee Jasmine Bronco, board secretary Lehua Itokazu, board of trustees chief of staff Summer Silva.
Velina mai me ke aloha, Dana Huna, trustee Koʻi Niʻihau, and today my two aides are with me, Yvonne Mahelona and Anuhea Diamond.
Aloha kakahiaka. My name is Hulu Lindsay, and I'm the Maui trustee. With me today is Kanani Iaya, my aide. Mahalo for having us.
Aloha morning, everybody. I'm Brickwood Galataria, trustee at large, and I'm joined today by my aide, Leanne Durant.
Also joining us this morning is our Chief Executive Officer, Pouhana Stacy Ferreira. Stacy, will you please introduce yourself and any of our administrative staff that have come to Kauaʻi to support us here today?
Ano ai me ke aloha. Mahalo, Chair, Vice Chair, Trustees, community. Mahalo for joining us. Today, in person, we have our Director of EV Wellbeing and Aina Momona, Ku'ike Kamakea Ohelo. Director of Community Engagement, Lisa Von Sekona. Operations Manager, Royce Campbell. IT Systems Engineer and Administrator, Arlene Aguinaldo. Over here in the corner, you can't see him, but trust me, he's there. Multimedia designer, Nelson Gaspar. We have communication strategist, Kelly Swallow. Kauaʻi Beneficiary Services Agent, Kaliko Santos. And Ancestry Verification Specialist, Lucy Meyer. Mahalo.
Okay, mahalo nui for those introductions. First up on the agenda is going to be our status of OHA activities. And so the chair recognizes our Pouhana to give the Kauaʻi Island Community Report and update on OHA's activities.
Mahalo, Chair. So before I begin the community updates, I wanted to first off mahalo the good work of Ku'ike Kamakea Ohelo, our Director of EV Wellbeing, and Aina Momona, and his strategy consultant, Parker Spencer, of our Strategy and Implementation PAIA, and Kamakana Ferreira, our archaeologist from our Advocacy and Compliance PAIA, for all of their efforts in taking critical action to address the concerns and issues that our Kauaʻi beneficiaries have shared with our Board of Trustees. My first update is EV kupuna related. First off, at Naue, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs has been actively working to protect EV kupuna at Naue since October of last year. When EV kupuna were first discovered, OHA immediately questioned the State Historic Preservation Division about the protocols that were being followed or not. As tensions on the ground rose, OHA met with the Department of Health on October 23, 2024, and we raised serious concerns about the way wastewater permits were being handled and requested a stop work order. That stop work order was issued within hours of our meeting. The very next day, OHA met with the Department of Land and Natural Resources, asking for direct consultation on the burial site component protection plan and for stronger proactive steps to identify EV kupuna before any further work was done. On November 4th, OHA brought DOH, DLNR, SHPT, and the County of Kauaʻi to Waipa for a community meeting. And it was at that meeting that DOH admitted weaknesses in its permitting processes and promised to improve it. DLNR Chair Chang agreed that better consultation and proactive processes are needed. And County Planning Director Ka'aina Hall confirmed that septic upgrades were not considered development and therefore were exempt from county review, and that those exemptions would be reevaluated. As a result of that meeting, the County of Kauaʻi revised its permitting processes and now requires cesspool conversion projects to comply with DOH's HRS 6E review, which requires all owners and developers to attest to whether or not their projects affect Native Hawaiian resources or the ability to exercise Native Hawaiian cultural practices in that vicinity. This is a huge win for EV kupuna protection and preservation here on Kauaʻi, especially since all existing cesspools must be upgraded, converted to an approved alternative wastewater system, or connected to a municipal sewer by January 1st, 2015. So we can expect that digging will continue. OHA continued to press for answers from SHPT, and in December, we gained access to project files and archaeological records. On January 15th, we formally requested a project redesign, warning that the current septic system was too close to our EV kupuna and could violate state burial protection laws. In February, OHA submitted detailed comments on the burial site component protection plan, calling out gaps in long-term protection measures, consultation records, and even proper recording of the plan. OHA continued meeting with SHPT and DOH throughout 2024. On December 17th, OHA was granted access to the project's Hawaii Cultural Resource Information System files, which included site maps of the project, SHPT's correspondence, and archaeological monitoring logs. After reviewing the files, OHA's compliance issued a letter to SHPT on January 15, 2025, stating that the septic system was still too close to EV kupuna and called for a project redesign to avoid a possible HRS 6E-11 violation due to potential harm from the individual wastewater system operation or malfunction. OHA also submitted formal comments on the draft
January 2025 Burial Site Component Protection Plan on February 14, 2025, raising additional concerns. To keep the community informed, OHA held a follow-up meeting in Waipaw on February 24, 2025, providing a timeline of events, a detailed burial site component protection plans that included OHA's comments and written responses from DOH and the county. Most recently, on July 2nd, SHPD issued a formal letter stating that the project is still out of compliance with state law. A revised burial plan was due yesterday, July 15th, and SHPD has warned that if the septic tank 2 is activated, it will seek an immediate injunction on the owners and take the matter to the Board of Land and Natural Resources. OHA continues to closely monitor this case with SHPD, DOH, and DLNR and the Kauaʻi community to ensure that iwi kupuna at Naue are protected with the dignity and respect that they deserve. Our compliance division did receive a copy of the report that was due yesterday that was submitted to SHPD, and we will come back to community with a report on what the owners have submitted as a reburial plan. I have an update on iwi kupuna that was located at Anahola. SHPD went out to Anahola on June 27th and secured the site. It was determined that it was DHHL property where the iwi were discovered. DHHL is following NAGPRA. DHHL staff has also confirmed that they will reach out to the lineal descendants, and it's likely that the iwi will be reburied at a reinterment vault nearby on DHHL lands. My next update is on Kaneiolouma and an impending e-purchase. In partnership with the County of Kauaʻi since August 2024, OHA has been actively engaged in the due diligence process to assume stewardship in collaboration with Hui Mālama o Kaneiolouma for the Kaneiolouma Heiau Complex and the adjacent parcel known as Mano Kalanipo Park. OHA has secured a civil engineering, planning, and environmental firm to support due diligence Phase 2, which focuses on risk assessments and liabilities on a parcel of land. And OHA aims to complete this Phase 2 due diligence by December of this year. At that time, final reports and action items will be prepared and agendized for trustee consideration. If approved by our Board of Trustees, OHA Administration will advance to Phase 3, which will have OHA and the County of Kauaʻi formally discussing and agreeing on specific conditions or backup plan contingencies as part of any potential transfer of the Heiau complex. Additionally, $50,000 has been allocated in OHA's core operating budget in FY26 to acquire ki'i and mea kapu for Kaneiolouma. OHA remains committed to honoring the vision of the Kauaʻi community and the many years of dedicated work of Uncle Rupert Rowe, who joined us this morning. Hui Mālama o Kaneiolouma, and cultural practitioners who steward Kaneiolouma. We mahalo the County of Kauaʻi for their collaboration in assisting OHA with the ongoing due diligence as we work together towards a potential transfer of the parcel, ensuring that Kaneiolouma is protected and preserved for generations to come. I have an update on Kōʻula Island. So the Office of Hawaiian Affairs continues to participate in consultations under the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 106, regarding Kōʻula, which is being evaluated as a traditional cultural property. On May 15, 2025, OHA met with staff from the Pacific Missile Range facility, where it was confirmed that consultations are ongoing with at least 4 Native Hawaiian organizations, OHA included, and the State Historic Preservation Division. OHA recommended several mitigation measures to protect Kōʻula. They include improving fishing access to waters around the island, exploring access for cultural practitioners, updating the ethnographic study, cleaning and remediating the island, and reducing or ending military training on the island and capturing drone images of Kōʻula and its heiau. On June 4, 2024, the Navy issued a formal letter to SHPD agreeing that its proposed land-based training and testing would have an adverse effect on Kōʻula as a traditional cultural property. The Navy acknowledged that additional visual and atmospheric impacts would diminish the integrity of setting and feeling of the island, and that limited access for cultural practitioners would further harm Kōʻula's cultural significance. This finding is consistent with OHA's own concerns raised during our May consultation. If SHPD concurs with the Navy's findings, the next step will be to formalize mitigation measures through a memorandum of agreement. Many of the recommended mitigations have already been discussed, and OHA will continue to monitor the process closely. OHA may also request to be a signatory to the MOA to ensure that Native Hawaiian interests are fully represented. My last update is on Anahola water diversion. Community concerns about the unusually dry conditions in Anahola and resulting sand plugs near the coastline have caused inland flooding. It prompted the Office of Hawaiian Affairs to investigate possible water diversions affecting the area. This issue directly impacts the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's homesteaders, who rely on consistent water access to be able to homestead successfully from Mauka to Makai. OHA staff, working with the Department of Land and Natural Resources Division of Forestry and Wildlife and Kauaʻi community Aina experts, we conducted 2 site visits to trace Anahola Stream to potential diversion points. However, due to the remote terrain and dense forest, it was inconclusive on exactly where the diversions are occurring. On February 5th, 2025, OHA sent a letter to DLNR Chair Chang requesting detailed information on all water diversion permits, environmental impacts, cultural consultations, and future water management plans for Anahola. Seaworm Chair Ciara Kahahane responded on February 25th, 2025, confirming that 6 stream diversions in Anahola were registered in 1989, and no new diversion permits have been issued since then. There are no known environmental assessments or consultations regarding water diversion activities in the area. OHA remains committed to uncovering the lack of water in Anahola that is preventing beneficiaries from homesteading this Aina. To strengthen our water diversion investigation and reporting work, the OHA Board of Trustees approved $60,000 in our fiscal year 26 and 27 budget to hire a hydrologist. This expert will support water-related compliance efforts and provide technical consultation to address long-standing community concerns regarding the Anahola water diversion and the identification of potable water availability to DHHL's Anahola residential lots, pastoral, and agricultural lots. We are teaming up with DHHL's planning department to continue the diversion investigation work that is currently underway. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo nui, Stacy. We are now going to move to the next items on our agenda, and we'll be deferring new business items A and B. And so we're going to jump right to item C, which would be an EV kupuna update by our OHA administration. So, Stacy, do you have additional items to add to that?
No, Chair.
No.
I provided them all.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. At this time, then, we are going to jump to community concerns. And so, if we have any members of our Kauaʻi community that have signed up to speak. Okay. I'd like to call up Uncle Rupert to speak because I know he has a lot to say.
Oh, wow. This is whether you like it or not.
Welcome, Uncle Rupert.
To all of you folks. Anyway, I don't know where to start, but I want to thank all of you for your support. Okay, I want to go back into time and bring us up to date and where we are. So in 1993, I went to Vietnam because the economic boom was happening, and OHA wanted, with Makana them, invest money into Vietnam. But it was not my job to get involved on the political end. I went there on the company I worked for. So I met the Dalai Lama in 1998, sat down with him for an hour and 20 minutes, understood the problem of Vietnam, and the question that he asked me, how do you make the people of war, really wasn't the Dalai Lama, that was a minister of culture that asked me the question in Vietnam. So that's how I got to meet the Dalai Lama. So I explained to them, war is a very serious thing. It changes the fundamental of man. To know who you are, no matter what religion you belong to, you focus on the inner self of yourself. And that's what I told the people in Vietnam. We were at how long in above Hanoi, and very interesting. On the north, there's no old people. only young people. In the South, I never did see a mixed race. I was there 6 weeks. I was a fireman. I took 1 month vacation, 1 month sick leave, and paid my workers for the time for that 6 weeks. But there's an old fireman saying, telephone, telegraph, tell a fireman. So when I do these things, you cannot let the government know that you capitalizing on what they have given you through the contract. So nobody knew where I was. I went there 93, 95, and 97. That's how I got to meet the Dalai Lama. And my journey started with Kaneiolouma in 98. In 98, La France Lapaka, I guess she was working for OHA back then. And she called me up and told me Billy and this other guy, Chris, are involved with Kaneiolouma, and the state went after them, Shipti, and the state archaeologists. So I called everybody together and discussed the problem where culture cannot be at the mercy of the government. So by doing so, the state kind of looked back. So when you're dealing with culture site, you have to have a vision and a mission. So by doing so, our mission was how we will bring back the past to the present, and by the present to the future, because we identifying ourselves as a people who really don't understand your identity. In Blood Quantum, I once said this to you folks in Honolulu. When you look at each other, how do you measure yourself? Because the other people are judging you, but we're not judging ourselves with our family. Because we have many people that live within our body. So the character of that person, you don't know if that's the Hawaiian, the Japanese, the Pake, the Filipino. You don't know who's in you that is talking. So your presentation, not understanding your culture, you get lost in that so-called lolo hupo. You're going around in one circle trying to find the corner to understand what is your identity. So by doing Kaneiolouma, and we went to Puʻo, we kind of united the whole Hawaiian Islands privately through our culture. So by doing that, we started moving forward. So the state kind of backed away from us. Nobody knew what was Kaneiolouma. Took us 10 years to clean the inside without the general public or anybody knowing what was going on inside. And then in 2010, we kind of opened it up. And then from there, we started moving. So as we went forward, when you put in an organization together, you have to have a we. You cannot have an I among your ranks because it creates a problem. Because the mission is destroyed if there is an I, because everybody is not focusing. So I kind of picked the best that I thought was, but there's so many more people out there that is good. So I got my crew together. We're the only place where the keys are in Poipu. We have EVs below in vaults that the state recognized as a burial site right there for everything that is in that ahopua that they find. So we put them away over there. No questions asked. All this is done at night without the general public knowing what's going on and give them a different interpretation of the culture site. So as we were moving forward, my first grant back then, I got $800,000 right off the bat. A and B gave us the money. Then I had one 600,000. So I put that whole thing together. I called my guys. I said, I will send you folks away to get qualified. So I sent Kaino Makua. He was trained by Francis Silenzi on how to make holly. And then Peleke Flores, I sent him away to learn how to make the rocks. So right now we have people that fly in on the weekend every month that wants to learn how to dry stack the culture way. We teach them the protocol, we show them everything. And then as we keep moving forward, they fly from other islands to come to Kauaʻi just to participate, knowing that they'll have something to take back to their place and restore culture sites like the one is at Kaneiolouma. So we opened the door, and right now we're focused to move forward. The reason the county and the state, you know, when you come to a culture site, and the counties and the state put it in the POX division. Why is it in the POX division? There's nobody in the POX division that is qualified. So now, if nobody is qualified, why are we following the law that is the HR? HR came about after statehood. I challenged them and said, we are the statue of the law that you represent. I left a question mark in their mind. Even the attorneys couldn't answer the question. We went all the way up to the state. So by doing so, I did a 3D dimension. I did LiDAR and all of this technology. The state of Hawaii does not have what we have. And every archaeology firm out there, remember, we're the only people, our destiny is set through an archaeologist's opinion. That's all they have, an opinion. So Henry Kekahuna, all these people that went to college, he's the only true archaeologist. How do you take the spiritual part of our culture and give it to the archaeologists? So they asked me that they wanted to give me a preservation plan. So I said to them, a preservation plan, from the Kanaka's point of view, we only going to restack the wall. So why you need one plan? The only plan you need is how to make the wall go up so it won't fall out. Because when you walk on a wall, the wall not supposed to fall down if you did it right. So the state backed away. Everybody backed away. They accepted my people that were qualified. Bill Isla said we were 50 years ahead of the state of Hawaii. So by understanding the mechanics that we face, I am right now ready to roll again. Because what happened is that when COVID came, the state was going to give us $2 million for a capital improvement. That's from the state of Hawaii, you know, prior to COVID. So when COVID came, they took the money away. We understood. But we were already moving, that the state felt that Kaneiolouma was an economic opportunity to be self-sufficient on how you set everything up. So that's why they kind of let us pursue. So now, with your aloha, we're ready to roll again. I have all these people coming in from the different islands, and they spend the weekend. As we grew, Camp School used to come here with their football team. It was David Stemps that came 4 years in a row, brought the team every summer. They would camp down there. Nobody can camp in a county park, but I made it happen. So if you're doing a culture event, that's your kuleana to be there. So the county let us go. And then we had the university brought their team. We have all the charter schools throughout Hawaii came there. All the schools that teach Hawaiiana in the public school system came to Kaneiolouma. And like I said, you know, when you surround yourself with people, you share the glory with them. It's not about you, because once it comes about you, you have become the I. So that's where we stay right now. Any questions? I'll be more than glad. I'm kind of radical, but you know,
It's good.
life goes
Yeah.
on.
Thanks, Uncle Rupert. You know, we really appreciate your passion and everything you put into this. I don't think the Heiau complex would be what it is today and what it's going to be without your drive and determination. We want to congratulate you on the CIP you received from the legislature this year, as well as the, like our Pouhana mentioned, the ki'i that is in our budget. And like she also mentioned, you know, we've advanced to the second phase of due diligence for the Heiau complex, and so we've contracted a G70 firm to do that work, and you know, we're excited to support. Trustees, any questions for Uncle Rupert? I know he's no stranger to us, and you know, it's nice to come here because I know it's a lot to get on that plane and fly to Honolulu and come to talk to us, and you know, at Mālama Kukui, and so it's nice for us to come here and in your backyard and meet you here. So we do appreciate you always coming over to testify in front of the Board of Trustees.
Right on.
Trustee, any questions?
No, thank you, Rup,
Oh, Trustee Akaka.
Hello, Anakala. I wanted to ask what's the latest on the mitigation regarding the drainage?
OHA gave me a lawyer. Her name was Christian Durant. We're challenging the drainage system. See what happened with the landowner on that side of the island? They subdivide their property. By subdividing your property, you take the farthest away and you grant that guy one drainage plan, then the whole system is qualified on the drainage. But you see, the interesting part, an archaeology firm talks about the great irrigation system that it once was there. So I told him, since you always mention and rip us off, I want to know the drainage plan. You see, what happened in the 70s, nobody was paying attention. Hawaii was in a rapid growth. Poipu was a tourist destiny on economics, but we wasn't prepared for that. It's about the water. So what happened in Texas will one day happen in Poipu. There is maps that say they have 4 hours of 12 inches of rain. And that's a lot of water running on rocks. So whatever happens on the bottom starts from the top. So the drainage, I cannot say what's going on. Because now the county and the same archaeology firm that once wanted to charge me $43,000 for a preservation plan asked me to come and give them a Pakai Alice. So I charged them $43,000. So I told them, when you guys give me the money, I'll do that for you folks. So you're playing Konani at the highest level. So know your moves before the end comes.
Follow up, good.
Okay.
Thanks, Uncle Rupert.
Right on.
Follow.
Okay.
I know we saw former Hawaii Council member Mason Chalk. Is he still here? Is he in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like him to come up. Hey, thank you for joining us. Double duty. Yeah, we just wanted to, you know, mahalo you and give you a chance to say a few words. I know there's a lot of great work that you guys are doing as well.
Yeah, mahalo nui. Hello, kako. Welcome to Kauaʻi. Update on a bunch of things. Yeah, I think coming up, you're probably all aware of updating the permit for discharge in Wailua, which is important subject. We've been subject to this discharge for many years now. We all know the capacity is low. If you drive to Wailua, we know because you can smell it. And so we're just asking for a public hearing. As a fisherman, you know, my father and I for years have gone out there. The fish are big, but you can also see the toilet paper floating in the water too.
You know, Mason, just for those watching virtually, can you just introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
You say we, who are we representing?
Yeah, mahalo. Mason Chalk. I served many different hats for the community. This is a county issue that's being heard. I think because I'm on the board of Iolo Wailua Nui, this particular matter has come up for us. Iolo Wailua Nui is a nonprofit who has been looking at Wailua Nui Aho as a whole and looking at a protective plan for the community, a cultural protective plan. So we are the stewards of Malai Ha'akoa, and have been looking at cocoa palms and its years of development and its current state, which is the other subject matter. The plan for demolition, I think, is complete. The owners have gone through with that. However, we haven't seen any activity. We know their building permits have been pulled, and what we understand is that they're in a financial situation. At least this is off the record, is what we're here. It's hearsay. We have a meeting. I reach out for a meeting to come up soon. And as I have explained before to you folks, trustees, is that we have been working with, based on a request from state legislature and Speaker Nakamura, to put a contingency plan together. We don't want to see another 32 years go by with this dilapidated, property continue, because it's so important to us as Kanaka. So working with HILT at establishing that plan, we have it in place. And I think it's going to take, a collective, right, a kako effort to see it, if it does go back into community's hands in the future. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, the situation. Unless otherwise, we're not seeing any activity. The building permits have been pulled, which gives them a timeline. As you know, it's currently zoned hotel, but those things can change over time. And what that may mean in the future is really, I think, one of the interests that we have as a nonprofit. So I don't know, there's a lot of things we could talk about. Is there any other updates, Kauaʻi updates? That's the Wailua updates.
Mason, I'm sorry, Trustee, go ahead.
No, I mean, if you can later talk about Ale Koko too.
Yeah, so Ale Koko continues to chug along. As all of you know, a lot of our Aina organizations have been hit by federal cuts. And so some of the funding that we had anticipated is now not there. In particular, we lost about $800,000 of funding. So we're starting a fundraising effort. We continue to work on rebuilding the wall. We are working with Fish and Wildlife to get access to three other of the puna vines, which we need in order to activate the pond and get it back to a healthy state. What we're looking to do is to purchase a amphibious excavator. This is a floating excavator. We had one that we rented, borrowed from Northwest Milan, but that had to go back. And so it is quite an expensive piece of equipment. And so that's what we're fundraising. We're so far about 300,000 short of that goal. And some of the discussions, as you heard from Uncle Rupert as well, our Aina-based organizations are looking, to maybe hui together on some of these costs for our equipment, because all of our Aina-based sites need kokua, malai as well, removal of some of the plantation rocks and the care and maintenance of the air before we actually start to revitalize it.
Thanks. That's what I wanted to ask you about. I know Trustee Souza has some experience with excavators.
Yeah, just a few.
Not amphibious excavators, but and the idea of collaborating and sharing, major purchase equipment with other Aina-based organizations on Kauaʻi. That's something you guys are considering as well, rather than each organization trying to fundraise for a single piece of equipment.
Yes. So for instance, for Ale Koko, we are the 100 acres we own. That's how much we own, and it traverses under the Hulia River and to the other embankment, which is another almost equally big, large as Ale Koko fish pond. And so our mission from the beginning has been to clear the mangrove and restore the watershed. That's what this machine is for. And so we do think that, we only need it for a certain amount of time to clear this, like we did the fish pond, and we can multi-purpose it and share it with others. It'd be a few years in the making, but I think if we can take turns, along with the machine itself is transporting that thing. So, as you know, a big effort. So
What is the total cost of the machine, at least in today's dollars?
500,000 for this particular machine. The excavator, in contrast to that Malai is needing, is probably a fraction of that, about 100 to 150,000. So
You guys have raised.
at Alakoko, at Mālama, we just started our campaign, which is I think almost 2 weeks old, and so far we've raised about 70 to 80,000. So we're just starting out right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think your board made a formal request to OHA for that purchase, Laverne Bishop. Yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Trustees, any other questions for Mason? Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming. Really
Yep.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lehua, anyone else signed up to speak on community concerns? Okay. Anyone who hasn't signed up would like to speak to the Board of Trustees? Going once? Going twice? Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move on now to announcements. And Chair has a few announcements before handing it off to our trustees for any other announcements. First and foremost, we want to extend our sincere mahalo to our colleague, our trustee Danahuna, as well as his staff, Anohea and Yvonne, for graciously hosting us here on the Garden Island, and also to Kauaʻi for providing this incredible space to hold our meetings this year. Terrific location. With that being said, Kapuhana, we will do Me'ai and Mana'o. We'll do a follow-up sometime for Kauaʻi.
Yes, Chair. We will be working with Trustee Ohuna to determine a date. Typically, it will be in the fall, sometime mid-fall. And again, we take into account all of the concerns, the issues that are brought forward by the Kauaʻi community. And we make sure that we follow up on those concerns and then also provide status updates for things that are still outstanding that kind of take time to get resolution.
Okay.
Mahalo.
Okay, great. Also want to mahalo our Kauaʻi Island Ahui for joining us last night and also today. We're really appreciative and grateful you took the time. We know there were a lot of competing events last night, as we were informed of, and so we just really appreciate those that came in person and of course those that participated online. Chair has a couple more announcements. So for we have next week, Wednesday, is going to be our big standing committee day. We haven't had one in a few weeks, and so expecting a pretty robust agenda. And so just to remind our standing committee chairs and vice chairs, as well as our staff, well, with the newly adopted Act 169 that was signed into law, that has changed our process for the publishing of our agendas as well as our board materials. So just as a reminder, all agenda language for next week, Wednesday's standing committee meetings are due from the administration by 4:30 p.m. today. And that's because tomorrow we need 6 calendar days before we post our agenda. So our standing committee chairs can finalize their agendas tomorrow and post when the required amount of time. And for the board packet materials, that is now 3 business days prior. And since our standing committee meeting is on Wednesday, that means Friday by 8 o'clock in the morning, we would like to post. Yeah, 3 full business days. We want to post our materials. And so for our administration, the board packet materials for next Wednesday's meeting is due by 12 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, with the goal that we can post the materials ideally by close of business Thursday, but no later than 7:59 in the morning on Friday. Okay? So just a reminder. We have a little bit more flexibility on the Board of Trustees meeting because that is on the following day. But for our standing committee chairs and staff and administration, 4:30 p.m. today for agenda, 12 p.m. tomorrow for board packet materials. Okay, second announcement is the vice chair and I had a chance to meet with the strategy and implementation team and the S&I senior director and staff a few days ago. And we will be bringing, in coordination and collaboration with the administration and the S&I team, a proposed ad hoc committee to reevaluate and reassess the Mauna i Mauliola strategic plan. We believe it's especially one that's a 15-year plan. It's critical that we reassess and realign at about the 5-year point, which is where we're at right now, on our Mauna i Mauliola plan, that it remains aligned with our goals and anything that has changed since the plan was adopted. We also have an opportunity to align that plan with our recently adopted biennial budget. And so we're planning to bring that in a proposed ad hoc committee to the August 7th Board of Trustees meeting. And that ad hoc committee can have 2 trustees serve on that ad hoc committee, along with several members of the administration and the S&I team. And so the announcement is that if we have any 2 trustees that would like to serve on this ad hoc committee, please inform the board secretary by close of business on Friday, so that we can look at including you in that ad hoc committee if you'd like to serve on that. It's going to be a lot of work in a very short period of time. We're looking at doing that work in August and September and having the ad hoc committee publish its final report end of September for adoption in the and consideration by the Board of Trustees in the October meetings. And that has received strong support from the S&I senior director. And so we're working together with the administration on that. So if you'd like to serve on the ad hoc committee, please let Lehua know before close of business on Friday. And if you do not wish to serve, there's no reply that's requested. So just if you would like to serve. Okay. Next announcement is that for next week's Board of Trustee meeting on Thursday, the Navy Region Hawaii reached out to the board chair's office and would like to present their draft EIS that has been published recently by the United States Navy and NASA. And this is for continued use of state lands on Kauaʻi at the Navy's Pacific Missile Range facility, as well as the NASA Kokeʻe Park Geophysical Observatory on the ridge at Kokeʻe. And so they are going, Navy Region Hawaii will be coming to the Board of Trustees next Thursday to give about a 15-minute presentation, followed by a Q&A that some of our trustees will have. As you recall, we established a permitted interaction group that focused specifically on the Army training land retention leases. So Puakaloa, Poʻo, Kahuku, Makua. This does not fall into that description for the pig. However, Navy Region would like to come out and brief us. And so we're going to have them present next week, Thursday. And then I'll just add, like we were informed by Mrs. Ornelas last night, the Navy presented at the Kauaʻi Veterans Cemetery Center last night from 5 to 8 p.m. And tonight, they're going to be presenting at the Kekaha Neighborhood Center from 5 to 8, as well as on Thursday, tomorrow, at the Sheraton Kauaʻi Coconut Beach Resort. And then they will come before the Board of Trustees next week, Thursday, to present their draft EIS. And right now, the comment period is open. So we're working together with advocacy and Lena Ala to ensure that we capture our beneficiary concerns regarding their proposed EIS, and that we can add any comments that we may have as a Office of Foreign Affairs Board of Trustees. I think those are the major announcements that I have. Any other trustees have any other announcements that they would like to add? See none. Pouhana, any final announcements? Trustee Ahuna?
Yeah, just real quick. And Kalika, if we missed something here at the board level, you let us know too, because we went around the island making sure we visit with everybody from Salt Pond to Kumano. So I just wanted to thank everybody here to our board administrative staff. So thank you, everyone. Great job.
Okay, thanks, Trustee Ahuna. All right, well, our next Board of Trustees meeting will be back on Oahu. It'll be next Thursday, July 24th, and we'll be convening at 9 o'clock in the morning. We expect to have a pretty full agenda next week, Thursday. So without any further announcements? Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Aye.
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 Yes.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.